Madam, please start.
Okay. Wish you all a very happy and prosperous new year to all the viewers of this YouTube channel. Welcome to today's webinar session. Today's webinar is about lesson 2, ellipse chapter in mathematics 2B. Children, I think you must have remembered the lesson 1 in which Srimati V. Ushasri, PGT Mathematics, TSMS Velimala RC Puram, has explained us clearly about the standard form of ellipse and different types of problems based on that standard form. There is one important point to be remembered, children, here. In the three conic sections like parabola, ellipse, and hyperbola, the terms S1, S11, and so on are all same, but it will change depending on the equation of the standard form. So let us welcome Ushasri Madam to take the today's webinar session. Ma'am, I'm handing over the session to you.
Thank you, Madam. Dear children, let us try to recollect what all we have discussed in the previous class, right? In ellipse, we have discussed the standard form of an ellipse and various forms, of course, and few problems. We will try to recall what we have seen, right? Now, equation of an ellipse in the standard form, we have seen it as x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1, right? Where a is greater than b. Now, children, apart from this a greater than b, we have also discussed a less than b also. We called it as conjugate form. But we'll try to recollect what exactly is the standard form we have discussed and the terms which are connecting the ellipse conic, what we are discussing right now is ellipse, isn't it? So first we will start with eccentricity. Eccentricity of an ellipse, it is given by the formula root of a square minus b square by a square. Then we have seen the foci, that is plus or minus ae comma 0 for any standard ellipse equation, right? And the center, when we have x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1 as our ellipse equation, the center will be the origin itself, that is 0 comma 0. We have also seen vertices. Vertices will be given by plus or minus a comma 0. Then length of the lattice rectum. Lattice rectum is 2b square by a. Length of the major axis. In the case of a greater than b, we have seen the major axis as the x-axis itself. So on that, when we take the vertices where the ellipse is touching the axis, that distance between the two vertices will be giving you the major length of the major axis, that is 2a. Then length of the minor axis is 2b. Then feet of the directrices is given by plus or minus a by e comma 0, right? Now, based on these formulae, you can very well try to recollect what will be the answer or the formula for the conjugate form. Now, the major axis becomes the minor axis in the other case, and the minor becomes the major axis. Therefore, A will be replaced by B in the case of conjugate form. So quickly, we will look into equation of ellipse with center h comma k. Now, other than center 0 comma 0, we have seen the other form with some center as h comma k. H comma k can be any point, right? Now, in that case, the ellipse equation will be represented by x minus h whole square by a square plus y minus k whole square by b square equal to 1. Here again, we are trying to recollect a greater than b case. Of course, even this has got a conjugate form. isn't it? With h comma k as the center, we have the conjugate form, that is a less than b case. Now, in this case, eccentricity, there is no change. That will be root of a square minus b square by a square only. But foci will be changing because the position will be, it may not be, it is not on the x and y axis, isn't it? The axis is changing. Therefore, we will take it as h plus or minus a e comma k. And center, of course, what we have mentioned right in the beginning, it will be h comma k, right? Vertices will be given by h plus or minus a comma k. Length of the lattice rectum is again, it's not changing. So it will be 2b square by a. Then length of the major axis is given by 2a itself, right? Length of the minor axis will be 2b. But feet of the directrices will be given by h plus or minus a by e comma k. Now for the conjugate case, you will have h comma k plus or minus be, and likewise k plus or minus b and k plus or minus b by e, right? So based on these formulae, you can also recollect the formula for the conjugate form of the ellipse where the center is h comma k, right? Having recollected all the formulae what we have discussed in the previous session, now today quickly we will look into the concepts. Based on the concepts what we have discussed, we will try to take up some problems. Okay, then we'll see the notation, what exactly is the notation, and then position of a point. When a point is taken, how the position will be varying, that we will see. Then we'll try to talk something about parametric coordinates. Then we'll see auxiliary circle and director circle, what it is actually trying to tell, right? We'll try to see the definition of auxiliary circle and director circle. Then finally, we will conclude with eccentric angle, right, children? So let us start with the problems on the concepts what we have discussed in the previous session. Now, we'll start with find the eccentricity of the ellipse in the standard form if its length of the lattice rectum is equal to half its major axis. Now, this is your question. Now, point by point, we'll try to analyze and we will try to put that in the form of mathematical statements. Now, what is given to you? You are given that length of the lattice rectum is equal to half the major axis, isn't it? So length of the lattice rectum is equal to half the major axis. What is length of the lattice rectum? For the standard form of an ellipse, it is 2b square by a. So we'll just write 2b square by a. This is equal to half into, for the standard form of an ellipse, major axis is 2a. Just now we have seen in the previous slides, right? So here this 2 and 2 can be cancelled, children. Then what is left? We are left with 2b square is equal to a square, isn't it? Now what did we do in this, children? Just we have taken the condition, we have just substituted the formulae, right? What is the length of the lattice rectum and what is major axis? Then we got it as 2b square is equal to a square. But when we have derived the standard form of an ellipse, we have seen a formula that is a square into 1 minus e square is equal to b square, isn't it? Now, instead of a square in this formula, I can always write it as 2b square. So we'll just substitute, children. We'll have it as 2b square into 1 minus e square is equal to b square. Now, on either sides of the equality, we can see b square, right? So we'll cancel them. Now, what is left? You have it as 1 minus e square is equal to 1 by 2. This 2 is taken to the other side of the equality. So it goes to the denominator, right? So we have it as still further, if we simplify, e square can be taken as half. Look at this. This 1 minus half gives you half. E square, of course, will be positive when we take to the other side. So e square is equal to 1 by 2. So then what is e? E is nothing but 1 by root 2. We are taking square root of this, isn't it? Therefore, eccentricity E is equal to 1 by root 2. Is it not simple, children? A problem which is based literally on the basic concepts what we have seen for an ellipse, right? Now, understanding the question is important. Once you understand, it's very easy to solve the problem, right? If the ends of the major axis of 5 comma minus 0, then formation of the is equal to 0. Problem, you are given with ends of the major axis. Now length ends of the major axis are given as 5 comma 0 and minus 5 comma 0, right? So what are the ends of the major axis? They are the vertices, what we have seen, right? A and A dash. So we can say A, capital A, the point A whose coordinates are A comma 0 and A dash coordinates are minus A comma 0. So look at this. This is the ellipse what we have, A and A dash, right? So A is equal to A comma 0. So one of the points where what we can take is 5 comma 0. That means small a is equal to 5. That is the length from the center to the point A, isn't it? So what else is given, children? What else is given? If its focus lies on the line 3x minus 5y minus 9 equal to 0. Now you're given that focus of the ellipse will be represented with AE comma 0, isn't it? So where is AE comma 0? It is on the line. Which line is that? 3x minus 5y minus 9 is equal to 0, right? So you have a line. Now here is the point S. This is the line. On this line, you have point S, which is focus, right? So see, in straight lines topic in the first year, of course, in circles, parabola, we have discussed if a point is lying on a straight line or on a conic, that point coordinates, when you substitute in the equation, it should satisfy the equation, isn't it? Now with that small logic what we have learned, we will try to go ahead with the problem. We will just substitute AE comma 0 in this equation 3x minus 5y minus 9 equal to 0. When we do that, it should satisfy, isn't it? So this implies 3 into AE. Instead of x, you are taking AE. Instead of y, you will substitute it as 0. Then you have it as 3AE minus 9 equal to 0, or we can say 3AE is equal to 9. Still further, we can say AE is equal to 3, right? We know what is A. We also know what is AE, isn't it? Now, what else we have seen in the previous session? We have already had a mention in the previous problem. B square is equal to A square into 1 minus E square. We'll make use of that formula, children. Now, what is that? What is the target of this problem? We need to find the equation of the ellipse in the standard form. Now, by some means, if I can get the value of B square, that's enough. Did he ask you to calculate what is the value of E? No. So then why do you need to calculate E from this? You can very well go with it. It's not wrong, but that is not required in this problem, right? So quickly, we will expand this A square into 1 minus E square. Then when we do that, we'll get it as A square minus A square E square. Now, A square, that is 5 square, and A square E square is nothing but AE whole square, isn't it? So directly we can take it as 3 square. So we'll write it as 5 square minus 3 square. 25 minus 9, which is 16. What is 16, children? That is nothing but the value of b square. That's enough. Once we know what is the value of a square and b square, you can write the ellipse equation. Therefore, equation of the ellipse is x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1. That implies x square by 25, isn't it? 5 square is 25 plus y square by 16 is equal to 1. The problem is simple. Hope you have got the logic in this problem. We are not doing any magics. We are making use of the basic concepts what we have studied in the previous class. Right. Now, we'll look into a small proof. Of course, when I say small, that is important also from the examination point of view. And also, you need to know the concept, how it is applicable in some of the problems. If P x comma y is any point on the ellipse, x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1, where a is greater than b, whose foci are s and s dash. S and s dash are the foci of the given ellipse. Okay. Then we have to show that sp plus s dash p is a constant. sp and s dash p. What is P? P is a point which is randomly taken on the ellipse. S and S dash are the foci of the ellipse. Right? Having discussed that, we will see what is the proof. You are given with ellipse equation, that is x square by a square plus y square by b square is equal to 1. Where the condition given is a is greater than b. When he says a is greater than b, what does it mean? The major axis is the x-axis and the minor axis is the y-axis, what we are taking for the ellipse. Okay, right. And length of the major axis, of course, it will be 2a and the minor axis will be 2b. Okay. Now, it is also given that you are also given that S and S dash are the foci of the ellipse and Px comma y is a point on the ellipse. Now, these are the things which are given to us. Now, this is an ellipse with x and y axis. Of course, the center of this ellipse is 0, 0. By looking at the standard form, we have concluded this, right? We'll take the point C as the center. Then the center is 0, 0 as I was mentioning, right? Then this is A, which is A, 0. That is one of the vertex, which is on the x-axis. So on the x-axis, y coordinate will be 0. So A, the coordinates of capital A, that is taken as A, 0. A dash is another vertex on the other side of the center. Then it will be taken as minus A, 0. Now likewise, B is a point on y-axis. So x coordinate will be 0. Therefore, B is equal to 0, B. And B dash, it is again on y-axis. Therefore, the coordinates will be 0, minus b. And observe this, children, when I say a, 0, minus a, 0, 0, b and 0, minus b, it means from C to A, the distance is small a. At the same time, C to A dash, the distance is again a. But why this negative sign? Because it is moving to the left side of the center 0, 0. Okay, on the negative axis you have. But length is the distance when you take, or length of any geometric figure will be positive. It will not be negative. That should be always kept in mind. Right. Now, we'll take S as the focus. Now, for focus, what will be the coordinates? AE, 0, isn't it? AE, 0. And what will be S dash? S dash is again at a distance of AE only, but on the negative side. So the coordinates will be minus AE, 0, but the distance will be AE only from the center. All right. Now we are taking Z as a point on the x-axis. Now Z coordinates are A by E, 0. This point Z will be considered as foot of the directrix on the axis, Try to observe what words or the terminology we are using over here. Okay, then we will quickly take the equation of this directrix as x is equal to a by e. Why? Because this line is parallel to y-axis, so x will be equal to a by e. Likewise, on the other side, we will take z dash. When we take z dash, the coordinates will be minus a by e comma 0. And of course, z dash is again the foot of the directrix on the axis. Okay, then its equation will be x is equal to minus a by e. We'll take a point P on the ellipse whose coordinates are x comma y. Then we'll just take a point L which is on the x-axis, okay, whose coordinates will be some x comma 0. Because it is on the x-axis, y coordinate will be 0. What exactly is this L? This is nothing but foot of the perpendicular dropped from the point P. Okay, we are taking the perpendicular from there. Now we'll join SP. What is our target in the problem, children? SP plus S dash P. So finally, we should come to that point only after defining all these coordinates, isn't it? So SP, S coordinates we know, that is AE comma 0. P also we know. Do you know what is S dash? Yes, that is minus AE comma 0, isn't it? We will also join S dash P because we need that in the statement. We need to prove it, right? So S dash P. Now, we'll just take a line which is parallel to x-axis and it is passing through the point P. All right. Now, according to the definition of E, what is that we have defined, children? SP by PM is equal to E, isn't it? So SP, we can always write it as, SP is equal to E into PM, right? Right. Okay. Now the line what we have taken parallel to the x-axis, it is meeting the two directrices at M and M dash. Now coordinates of M, how they will be? Now the value of x at this point will be a by e. And of course, whatever coordinate you have for P, the same coordinate you will be taking for point M as a y coordinate. So the coordinates of M will be given by a by e comma y. And likewise, M dash will be taken as minus a by e comma y. All right. Now, having taken this, we will just come to the basic definition of the eccentricity. That is, SP is equal to E into PM. Now, what is PM? Where is this PM? We will just try to observe. Now, P to M, just observe this. PM is equal to LZ. Now, do you know what is LZ? Now, instead of LZ, we can always write it as CZ minus CL. C to Z. From this, you're taking away CL, this distance. Then you will be left with CZ minus CL. Then when you subtract it, you will be getting it as LZ. That LZ is nothing but PM. So instead of PM, we are writing as CZ minus CL. What is CZ? C to Z. What is the distance? We have taken it as A by E, isn't it? Instead of CZ, we can write it as A by E. And what is CL? From C to L, the distance on the x-axis is taken as x. So we can write it as E into A by E minus x. All right. Then just take LCM in the bracket part. You will have it as A minus EX by E. E gets cancelled, children. So we will be left with SP is equal to A minus EX. Right. Now we'll quickly move to the next part of the proof. The same diagram we are taking, children. Now, this time, now we are taking S dash P, S dash P, this is S dash P, right? S dash P is equal to E into PM dash, PM dash. Now this PM, this is the perpendicular dropped from the point onto the directrix. Likewise, PM dash is also a perpendicular which is dropped onto the directrix over here, right? So S dash P is equal to E into PM dash. Now what is PM dash? Just observe P to M dash. This is the distance. P to M dash. Now can I say it is equal to Z dash till L? Isn't it? Now, how to go with it? LZ dash, isn't it? PM dash is nothing but LZ dash. Now, LZ dash, how to get that? CL plus CZ, CZ dash. Then we will get it as LZ dash. So instead of LZ dash, we will replace it with CL plus CZ dash. Do you know what is CL? Just now we have seen that length is taken as X. So X we have, and what else we need, children? C to Z dash. It is taken as A by E as the distance. So we'll take it as X plus A by E. Again, by taking LCM inside the bracket, you will have it as EX plus A by E. And of course, E and E, they get cancelled. We are left with EX plus A. Now, what is that we need to calculate? SP plus S dash P. We need to calculate this, isn't it? Now, when we do that, we'll just substitute the values, children. SP, we got it as A minus EX, and S dash P, we got it as EX plus A. Now, minus EX plus EX, both get cancelled. We are left with what? 2A. What is 2A? 2A is a constant. And it also gives you the length of the major axis, isn't it? So we can say SP plus S dash P is nothing but length of the major axis, which is equal to 2A. And at the same time, it is a constant. Now, having discussed this proof, we will try to see an application problem based on this. We are not going to prove everything in the problem, but we'll try to make use of this concept, children. Now, a man running on a race course notices that the sum of the distances of two flagpoles from him is always 10 meters and the distance between the flagpoles is 8 meters. Find the equation of the race course traced by the man. This is the question. Okay. Now, race course traced by the man takes the form of an ellipse, children. Now, it cannot be a circle. It should be an ellipse only, right? So, having said that, now when we talk of an ellipse, the first thing we'll think of is S and S dash, which are the foci of the ellipse. So, we have an ellipse whose focus are S and S dash, okay? Then at S and S dash, we'll say that the person has observed two flagpoles, right? So at S and S dash, we have the flagpoles. And when I say S and S dash, they are the focal. We know the coordinates. Already we are familiar with this. So S is AE comma 0 and S dash is equal to minus AE comma 0. Now, we'll pick up a point P at random on the ellipse and we'll take the coordinates of that point as X comma Y. Now, why we are doing that? Just observe, man running on the race course notices he is not at one fixed point. He can be at any point on the ellipse. At any point, wherever he goes, he is finding that sum of the distances from the flagpoles. That means S to P and S dash to P, wherever he goes. When he is taking the distance of SP and SP dash, sum of these two, he is observing that it is equal to 10 meters. Okay, this is what matters us. Now, did you recollect when I said SP and S dash P? That is nothing but the previous proof what we have seen. SP plus S dash P is equal to 2A. That's what we have seen, right? So this is the direct application of the proof what we have seen, children. So we'll just take the diagram again here. Now, P is the point of observation. We have already seen that SP plus S dash P is equal to 2A, right? Now, SP plus S dash P is 2A, and S and S dash, S dash is equal to 2AE. Distance between S and S dash is 2AE. This we know. And these two values are given to us, right? Sum of the distances from the point of observation. He has given it as 10. So 2A should be equal to 10. When 2A is equal to 10, we can say A is equal to 5. When I say A equal to 5, automatically A square becomes 25. And SS dash is equal to 2AE. Now, distance between the flag posts is given to us as 8 meters. That means distance between this S and S dash is given to you, which is nothing but 2AE. So 2AE is equal to 8. That means A value we know, children. We can substitute here. So 2AE is equal to 8. That means AE is equal to 4. But we know what is 8. A, that is 5. So E is equal to 4 by 5. E is equal to 4 by 5. Therefore, we can conclude saying here E is equal to 4 by 5. Once we get E value, we will quickly move to the next thing, that is calculation of B square. To write any ellipse equation, what do we need? A square and B square, right? So we know what is A, we know what is E. Now we need to calculate what is B. Therefore, we'll just go with B square is equal to A square into 1 minus E square, which is nothing but 5 square into 1 minus 4 by 5 whole square. Then 5 square is 25, 25 into 1 minus 16 by 25. When you further simplify, 25 minus 16 will be 9. So 25 into 9 by 25. 25 and 25 gets cancelled. Therefore, your B square value is 9. Now, children, now you should get it out. In the previous problem, when we were discussing, madam was telling what is the need for calculating E. And here we have calculated. This is the other way of doing the problem, children. You can directly, when you have AE value, you already in the calculation, 2AE is equal to 8. We have taken AE is equal to 4. That AE directly we can substitute here by taking A square minus A square E square also. Okay, this is what I wanted you to observe. So two problems in two different styles, right? Now, the equation of the race course we are giving, which is in the form of an ellipse. Now we know what is A square and B square. So equation of the race course is x square by 25 plus y square by 9 is equal to 1. Right? Now, the next problem. If the length of the major axis of an ellipse is 3 times the length of its minor axis, then find the eccentricity of the ellipse. This is the question. Now, what is given to you, children? Length of the major axis of an ellipse. It is 3 times the length of minor axis, right? Length of the major axis, we have seen it as 2A, and length of the minor axis is 2B. We will just substitute those two values, children. Then on either sides of the equality, we can cancel 2. Okay, then what is left? A is equal to 3B. When A is equal to 3B, can we write A square? Yes, why not? Isn't it? A square is equal to 9B square. A square is equal to 9B square. Now, what is that we need to calculate? Eccentricity. Now, when we write A square is equal to 9B square, we don't have E in the statement. So how can we calculate? Now we'll go with the basic formula, that is B square is equal to A square into 1 minus E square. Now, what all values we know, we will just substitute, children. Remaining, we will try to calculate. Now, what is A square? A square is 9B square. So instead of this A square, we will just substitute 9B square. Then when we do so, we can cancel B square on either sides of the equality. When they get cancelled, You're left with 1 on the left hand side. Remember, this is not 0. This is the basic mistake what students commit. Without their knowledge, they will commit the mistake. You know it is equal to 1, but in a hurry when you solve the problems in the exam, sometimes you may skip. So please keep this in mind when you do that. Okay, so you have it as 1 minus e square is equal to, here you have 1, we are just moving this 9 to the other side, it becomes 1 by 9. So 1 minus e square is equal to 1 by 9. Therefore, e square should be equal to 1 minus 1 by 9, which is equal to 8 by 9. When e square is equal to 8 by 9, what will be e, children? It will be square root of that. So e is equal to 2 root 2 by 3. Root of 8 is 2 root 2. Root of 9 is 3. Therefore, eccentricity of the ellipse is 2 root 2 divided by 3. Right? Now, we will take up a problem which involves all the terms, whatever we have discussed when I have started with the concept ellipse. Now, find the length of the major axis, minor axis, latus rectum, eccentricity, coordinates of the center, the foci, and the equations of the directrices of the ellipse. X square plus 2y square minus 4x plus 12y plus 14 equal to 0. Now children, at a glance, when you look at this, is it looking like an ellipse? No. What we have seen in ellipse, x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1, or it can be x minus h whole square by a square plus y minus b whole square by b square equal to 1. Now, it is our work to reduce this equation to one of the standard forms with center 0, 0 or h, k depending upon the problem. Right? Now we'll take the equation of the ellipse which is given to us. Then we will try to club all x terms in one bracket and y terms in the next, and of course constant separately. Then we can always write it as x square minus 4x plus, look at this, 2y square plus 12y. I can take 2 common, isn't it? So you will be left with what? Y square plus 6y. And of course, plus 14 is equal to 0. Further, now if you look at this, children, it's looking like some a square minus 2ab term. If we can supply b square term in every bracket, then we can write it as some a plus b whole square and a minus b whole square form. Now, what is that we need to add here? If I add 4, then it becomes x minus 2 whole square. When I add 4, I need to subtract. So in the first bracket, we will add and subtract 4, so that we can write it in the standard form. Okay. And similarly, y square plus 6y. It is looking like y whole square plus 2 into y into 3. That means 3 should be your b value. So 3 square, 9 if we add and subtract in the second bracket, we can write it in the form of a plus b or a minus b. Accordingly, whatever values we have, we will write. Plus 14, of course, will be there, which is equal to 0. Now, x square plus 4x plus 4 can be taken as x minus 2 whole square, and y square plus 6y plus 9 can be taken as y plus 3 whole square. Then what is left here in the first bracket? You are left with minus 4. And in the second bracket, when you simplify, 2 into minus 9 becomes minus 18. That minus 18 is left now. And you have plus 14 equal to 0 also. So we are just bringing the extra terms other than the one which is required to write in the form of something whole square. We are pushing them out of the brackets, right? So you have it as x square minus 4x plus 4 plus 2 into y square plus 6y plus 9. Then 2 into minus 9, which is minus 18, is moved outside the bracket. plus 14 equal to 0. Now still further. Now, the first bracket what we have, as I was telling, it is x minus 2 whole square plus 2 into y plus 3 whole square. Then minus 4 plus 14 gives you what? It is plus 10. Minus 18 plus 10, it gives you minus 8, which is equal to 0. So this 8 can be sent to the other side of the equality. Then you will have it as x minus 2 whole square plus 2 into y plus 3 whole square is equal to 8. But for any standard form of an ellipse, on the right hand side, we'll have it as 1. So to get 1, we will divide both sides with 8. When we do so, we will get it as x minus 2 whole square by 8 plus y plus 3 whole square by 4. Why it is 4, children? 2 by 8, which is nothing but 4, is equal to 1. Right? 8 can be always taken as 2 root 2. 2 root 2 whole square. 2 root 2 whole square is 8. 2 square is 4. So we are just writing in the same way. Then the ellipse equation what we have to write will be x minus 2 whole square by 2 root 2 whole square plus y plus 3 whole square by 2 square is equal to 1. That means the center of the given ellipse is not 0, 0. Its center is other than the origin, isn't it? Here the center is 2, minus 3. H, k is taking the value as 2, minus 3. Right. So here the value of A is 2 root 2, B is 2, H, as I was mentioning, it is 2 and K will be minus 3. Having known these values, children, we will write what is the length of the major axis. What is length of the major axis? It is 2A. That means 2 into 2 root 2, which is nothing but 4 root 2. Now, what is length of the minor axis? It is 2B. 2B is nothing but 2 into 2, which is equal to 4. Then length of the latus rectum. Length of the latus rectum is given by 2b square by a. What is 2b square by a? 2 into 2 whole square by 2 root 2. Now, when you simplify this, you will have it as 2 root 2. Why, children? You cannot have a surd in the denominator. So you need to rationalize. This is the basic thing what we have learned in class 9, isn't it? So length of the latus rectum also we have calculated it as 2 root 2. Then eccentricity. Eccentricity is equal to root of 1 minus b square by a square. We know b square and a square values. So we will just substitute. So we'll get it as root of 1 minus 4 by 8, which is nothing but 1 minus half, which is half under root. It is nothing but 1 by root 2. What are the coordinates of the center? Right in the beginning we have mentioned. That is h, k, which is nothing but 2, minus 3. Then the foci. The coordinates of the foci will be given by h plus r minus a, k. Right? We'll have it as 2 plus r minus 2, minus 3. Then what are the values, children? 2 plus 2, 4, minus 3. 2 minus 2, which is 0, minus 3. Two coordinates. Then equations of the directrices we need to calculate. Equations of the directrices will be given by x is equal to h plus r minus a by e. When we substitute h and a by e values, we'll get it as 2 plus r minus 2 root 2 by 1 by root 2, which is on simplification, you will get it as 6, minus 2. Now that you know how to simplify, I don't think I have to explain how we got 6, minus 2. Isn't it, children? So this is an equation. Remember, you cannot leave 6 and minus 2 like this. So we need to write it as an equation form. That is x is equal to 6 and x is equal to minus 2. Right? This covers all the terms what we have discussed in the previous session. Now, we'll see a problem. Find the radius of the circle passing through the foci of an ellipse 9x square plus 16y square is equal to 144 and having least radius. Now, we will try to analyze the question one by one and try to solve this problem. You are given with an ellipse equation, that is 9x square plus 16y square is equal to 144. First, we will try to write this in the standard form, children, by dividing both sides with 144. So we'll get it as 9x square by 144 will be x square by 16, and 16y square by 144 can be taken as y square by 9, which is equal to 1. Now, this is an ellipse. Of course, when I say ellipse, it will have the foci S and S dash. What is that he has given, children? The radius of the circle passing through the foci of an ellipse. We need to find out the radius of the ellipse which is passing through the foci. That means the circle is passing through both the foci and it should have the least radius possible. Okay. Now, you may have the circle like this. Now, this is an assumption. We cannot say the circle exactly looks like this. Why? The circle may be smaller, which may have the radius less than the length of the minor axis also, less than the value of b. Now, just an assumption we are taking, like a circle, the circle what we need may look like this. Okay, it may differ. The circle may be smaller also. It may fall inside the ellipse also. Okay, that we will see in the course of simplification of this problem. Now here, by looking at the equation, we can always write a square is equal to 16 and b square equal to 9. When we have this, we can always write a equal to 4 and b is equal to 3. Now what is given to you, children? The circle passes through the foci and it should have the least radius. That means S dash should be the diameter. Isn't it? If SS dash is the diameter, what are the coordinates of S and S dash? The coordinates of S and S dash are plus or minus AE comma 0. Isn't it? Then in that case, what will be the length of S and S dash? It should be equal to 2AE. This also we have seen in the previous problem, one of the problems. Then the least radius possible should be AE. When I say SS dash, it will be diameter. Half of this will be the radius. It should be AE. Now, what is E? According to the formula of eccentricity, we have it as root of A square minus B square by A square. You can very well write it as 1 minus B square by A square also, no problem. Now, we know A square and B square values, children. We will just substitute them as 16 minus 9 by 16 under root, which is nothing but root 7 by 4. That means AE is equal to 4 into root 7 by 4. That is AE is equal to root 7. Now, radius of the circle is root 7. Now, I want you to observe something over here. What is the value of B, children? We got it as 3. We got 3. What is root 7? Is it more than 3 or less than 3? Root 9 is 3. Then it means root 7 should be less than 3. That means the radius of the circle, what we are discussing over here, will have the radius less than the value of B. That means we can conclude that the circle is inside the ellipse. What we have assumed, we have just taken it as an assumption. We were concentrating on the circle where it is passing through the two foci. Isn't it? Because we are not sure what will be the radius of the circle which is to be calculated. Now, after calculation, we got that as, of course, the circle is passing through the two foci, but the radius is less than the value of B. Okay. So therefore, equation of the required circle will be x square plus y square is equal to 7. Why? Equation of the circle is x square plus y square equal to r square. Equation of the circle, we have discussed that when we were doing circles concept, isn't it? So x square plus y square is equal to root 7 whole square, which is equal to 7. Now, we will talk something about notation, children, as madam was mentioning right in the beginning of the session regarding the notation. When we were talking of circle, we had some equation for S and S1, S11, S12, and so on. When we were talking about the concept ellipse, did you get same S value, children? No. There, when we have taken S, x square plus y square plus 2gx plus 2fy plus c equal to 0 form will be the circle equation. And when we have taken parabola, y square minus 4ax, that we have taken it as S. Likewise, we have some notation for ellipse also. Here for ellipse, we take S as x square by a square plus y square by b square minus 1. This we are taking it as a standard ellipse equation and we represent it as S is equal to 0. Okay, then what will be S1, children? S1 will be xx1 by a square plus yy1 by b square minus 1. And S11 will be taken as x1 square by a square plus y1 square by b square minus 1. And S12 will be taken as x1 x2 by a square plus y1 y2 by b square minus 1. Okay, these are the notations what we use in this topic ellipse. Then, having discussed what are the notations which we are using in this chapter, we'll go with what is, how is that we are going to get the position of a point. If you take a point P x1 comma y1 on the ellipse S is equal to 0, then the point will be on the ellipse if you get S11 is equal to 0. Okay, children, what is S11? Just now we have seen, isn't it? S11 is nothing but x1 square by a square plus y1 square by b square minus 1. Now, if that value is equal to 0, then the point will be on the ellipse. If the value is less than 0, then it will be inside the ellipse. And if S11 is greater than 0, the point will be outside the ellipse. Okay. Now, quickly we will try to see what are the parametric form of an ellipse. Parametric form of an ellipse. Now, we were discussing parametric form of a circle, parametric form of a parabola, isn't it? Now we are trying to take what is parametric form of an ellipse. Now, what is this parametric form, children? First, you need to have a clear idea of this parametric form. Now, parametric equations of any curve, what they will do? They will describe the coordinates of any point which is on the curve in terms of a single variable. Okay, any point on the curve, they will be described in terms of one single variable. Then that single variable which is representing or which is describing the points on the conic or on the curve, that will be taken as a parameter. Okay, now in the case of circle, when we have taken R was the parameter, likewise in ellipse also we have a parameter. What it is, we will look into. Now, x is equal to a cos theta, y is equal to b sin theta. They are called as parametric equations of the ellipse S is equal to 0. Here, in the case of ellipse, the parameter what we are taking is theta. Okay, and this theta value is ranging from 0 to 2 pi. If you take any point on the ellipse, children, ellipse, which is the standard ellipse S equal to 0, then the coordinates of that point will be taken as a cos theta and b sin theta as the y coordinate. Okay, and the name of the point we call it as theta, P of theta in the parametric form. Okay. Now, having discussed this, the next definition what you are going to see is auxiliary circle. Now, what is this auxiliary circle? The circle described on the major axis of an ellipse as diameter is called auxiliary circle of the ellipse. Okay. Now, you have the coordinate axis and ellipse has taken the center as 0, 0, that is the origin. Now, A and A dash are the vertices, or A dash will give you the length of the major axis. B dash gives you the length of the minor axis. Then the circle which is passing through two vertices. Now, what is it doing, children? It is taking the diameter as the length of the major axis. That's what is mentioned. The circle described on the major axis of an ellipse as diameter. Major axis is A dash. Now A dash is the diameter of this circle. Then what is the ellipse equation? The ellipse equation is x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1. And of course, you are taking a greater than b. Then the circle equation will be given, the auxiliary circle equation will be given by x square plus y square equal to a square. Okay. Now you can also define this auxiliary circle in a different way also. What exactly is this? The locus of feet of the perpendiculars drawn from the foci to any tangent. Since we didn't talk anything about tangent of the ellipse, I didn't mention that in the script form in this slide, but definitely we will come to this when we talk of tangent also. Now, tangent is a line which touches any curve at one single point, that you know by this time, children. So when we take a tangent to this ellipse, and if you are dropping a perpendicular from the foci to the tangent, then all such points when you are joining, what you are joining? You are joining the locus of feet of the perpendiculars. From the focus, you are dropping perpendiculars onto the tangent. All such foot of the perpendiculars, if you join, you will get a circle. That circle will be concentric with this ellipse, and that circle is nothing but your auxiliary circle. This is the other definition of auxiliary circle. Okay, that again we will try to discuss when we talk of the tangent, children. Then the next one is x square plus y square is equal to a square plus b square. It represents a director circle for the ellipse S is equal to 0. Not only this, children, the center of the director circle is nothing but the center of the ellipse, and its radius will be given by root of a square plus b square. Now for this again, you have one more definition for a director circle in terms of a tangent. Now what is that we have? The locus of point of intersection of all the perpendicular tangents. Now when you draw tangents to an ellipse, how many tangents you can draw to an ellipse? At every point on the ellipse you can draw a tangent. Now what is that you are doing? You are taking the tangents which are perpendicular to each other. Right? The point of intersection of those two perpendicular tangents. For one pair, one point of intersection. Likewise, we will have many perpendicular tangents to an ellipse. Now, all those points of intersection, if you join, then you will get a director circle, which is concentric to the given ellipse. Okay, this is another definition of a director circle that we will see again in the coming sessions. Now, having discussed this, we will try to go with the next definition, eccentric angle. Eccentric angle. Now, you are just taking the coordinate axis x and x dash, y dash. You're taking an ellipse with A dash as the vertices, B dash, of course, they are the vertices on the minor axis. Then C is the center. Then you are taking a point Px comma y, which is on the ellipse, whose center is C, which is 0 comma 0. Okay, you're taking a point. Look at this, children. Observe the diagram carefully, right? Then let n be the foot of the perpendicular of P on the major axis. That means you are dropping a perpendicular from P onto the major axis. I'm dropping a perpendicular. And the foot of the perpendicular is taken as N. Got it? Then let NP meet the auxiliary circle at Q. This NP is extended and it is meeting the auxiliary circle at point Q. Got it? Then look at this. If you join C to Q, then angle NCQ is nothing but the auxiliary, NCQ is nothing but the eccentric angle of this point P. We'll go with the definition again. You are dropping a perpendicular at a point P, which is on the ellipse, onto the major axis. And the foot of the perpendicular, you are getting it as N. This perpendicular is also touching the auxiliary circle at point Q. The point where the perpendicular is touching auxiliary circle is joined to center C. Then this line is making an angle theta with this major axis. Okay. Now this angle NCQ is taken as eccentric angle of P. And at the same time, the point Q is called the corresponding point of P, children. And its range, the range of the eccentric angle will be 0 to 2 pi. 0 to 2 pi. Now, we'll see a problem on this eccentric angle. The distance of a point on the ellipse x square plus 3y square equal to 6 from its center is equal to 2. Find the eccentric angles. Find the eccentric angles. See, just now when I was showing you the eccentric angle, where was the eccentric angle taken, children? In the first quadrant. Now, likewise, you can also have eccentric angles in the second, third, and fourth quadrants. Now, in the previous sessions of trigonometry, of course, maybe you are also watching trigonometry concept. We have seen the trigonometric ratios are periodic. The same value can be repeated in different quadrants, isn't it? After regular interval, the trigonometric ratios are repeating, the values are repeating. Likewise, eccentric angle, when we talk of, it is taking sine and cos with the theta, what we have. So you will have 4 eccentric angles. Got it? So that is the reason why he is mentioning eccentric angles. You are given with an ellipse equation, x square plus 3y square equal to 6. We'll write that in the standard form first. That is x square by 6 plus y square by 2. 3y square by 6 is y square by 2, which is equal to 1. Now, here is your ellipse. Okay. Then the center is C. You are given with, from the ellipse equation, standard ellipse equation, you can calculate a square is equal to 6. So a equal to root 6. B square is equal to 2. That means b is equal to root 2. Now, what is the center here, children? This is in the standard form, and of course, a square is greater than b square. A is greater than b. That means, and you don't have x minus h whole square form. So the center should be 0, 0 only. Therefore, we can conclude saying that center is 0, 0. Now, just now we have seen the parametric form of the point on an ellipse, right? What is it? A cos theta, comma b sin theta. So the coordinates of this point P we are getting it as A we have calculated, children, that is root 6, and B is root 2. We have just substituted and we got the coordinates of P in terms of theta. Then what is that you are given with? The distance of the point from the center is 2. That means CP is given as 2. CP is given as 2. Okay. We'll just go with further explanation for this. Now, when do you get eccentric angle? When you have auxiliary circle, right? How did you get the eccentric angle? When the perpendicular dropped at P onto the major axis is touching the auxiliary circle at point Q. Then when you join center to the point on the auxiliary circle, then the angle made is nothing but your theta value here with a major axis. Hope you are able to follow this, right? Okay. We'll just take this diagram, children. We got CP is equal to 2. That means CP square, can we write it as 4? Yes, right? So CP, what is C? 0, 0. What is P? Root 6 cos theta, root 2 sin theta. Then CP square by distance formula, if you simplify, you will get it as 6 cos square theta plus 2 sin square theta is equal to 4. Now sin square theta, we will try to replace it as 1 minus cos square theta by making use of trigonometric identity. Why we are doing so? Because if you have one single variable, we can always calculate the value of theta comfortably, right? So we have it as 6 cos square theta minus 2 cos square theta, which is nothing but 4 cos square theta. 2, you have it as 2, and here it is 4, right? Get this 2 this side. 4 minus 2 gives you 2. So we can just say 4 cos square theta equal to 2. That means cos square theta is equal to 1 by 2, or cos theta is equal to plus or minus 1 by root 2. Then cos theta is taking 1 by root 2 and also minus 1 by root 2, isn't it? When cos theta is 1 by root 2, then theta value will be 1 by 4 and 7 pi by 4. 7 pi by 4. And likewise, theta, when it is when cos theta is minus 1 by root 2, theta will be 3 pi by 4 and 5 pi by 4. Therefore, the eccentric angles will be theta is equal to pi by 4, 3 pi by 4, 5 pi by 4 and 7 pi by 4. Now, by this time, after doing trigonometric equations and all, you are familiar how to get these values. Since cos theta is periodic, pi by 4 and 7 pi by 4 values will be same, isn't it? You know this. And minus 1 by root 2, you will be getting when theta is equal to 3 pi by 4 and also 5 pi by 4. Right, children? Now, here are some practice questions for you. You can always calculate major axis, minor axis, latus rectum, lengths, eccentricity, coordinates of the center, foci, length of the directrices by making use of the formulae, what we have discussed. But before that, you need to reduce the given equation in the standard ellipse form. That is very, very important. Only then you can calculate all this comfortably. Then here, the second question what I'm leaving here is, find the equation of the ellipse in the form of x minus h whole square by a square plus y minus k whole square by b square equal to 1. That means the center is not 0, 0. It is something else, that is h, k. That means it is very clear from the question that the center is not 0, 0. Okay. Now under this, you are given with center, and one problem is one end of the major axis. One end of the major axis is minus 1, 1. I don't know. Now you should think, try it out. If you're not getting, leave a message in the chat box. We will address that. Or you can definitely talk to your subject teachers. They will help you out. But right now, I want you to think, children, if I give you the solution, then what is the fun in solving these problems, right? And semi-minor axis, what is the meaning of semi-minor axis? Minor axis is B to B dash. Length of the minor axis is 2B. Then semi-minor axis, it will be half of it. That means B is equal to 5. Okay. Now, having given these hints, I expect you to do these problems and feel that enthusiasm after solving these problems. Hope that you will enjoy, right? Thank you.
Thank you, Ushasri Madam,
Madam,
for
thank you.
your very clear and transparent explanation. Children, as Madam said, if you first try the problems without seeing, then only you will be able to get that satisfaction. So go through the lessons again and again and write down your notes. All your teachers are always available to clear your doubts. Thank you.